Morning all. Following some nice comments and a couple of requests about playing blues and people who couldn't make my workshop because they have the crazy inclination to live in far-flung corners of the earth. I thought I'd just put down a few ideas about what I do and I think hopefully this might be useful to some of you. I know people are interested in little riffs that you can use in different keys as well, so I'm going to cover that. I think the first thing to think about blues, as opposed to bluegrass, is you're going to lose that kind of syncopated chop that you do all the time in bluegrass, and you maybe end up with more kind of ringing strings and that sort of thing. I've also got little rhythmic phrases that you might use, but we'll come on to that in a minute. Let's think first of all about the actual notes you play. And I suppose there's that pentatonic scale going on in all sorts of ethnic music, including blues. On its own, it's kind of very vanilla, and I mean, the normal blues, normal scale would be, as you know, but the pentatonic scale is the open, well, the first, second, third, fifth, sixth, back to the root again up top. And you're kind of leaving out the notes that might have potential for conflict, like the C, which kind of suggests a different chord, and up here you've got the F sharp, which you get in the scale normally. So you're just doing this, but that's where the difference comes in. What makes it bluesy is playing the flattened third, and preferably with little slides around it. The seventh up here, the F. Slow a little bit of that down. What I'm doing here is a little slide from the B flat up to the B, back to the G, and then the seventh note, that F below. And the kind of repeat down and below. A lot of little slides on those few notes, really. But I think the key to then being able to play in different, or the secret to being able to play in different keys, is being able to do movable scales and movable patterns. So you forget about the open strings, you start doing the same thing in A. Let's look at the pentatonic scale in A. So you might go. So it's the same thing you're doing in G, but just moved up a tone. So obviously now your first finger is becoming a nut, really, so you're not playing it with the same fingers you used down there, you're doing this. Okay. But once you can master that, you can then repeat that all over the neck, and so there we're starting on A. There's the bluesy version. And if you're playing blues in A, your next chord's going to be D, so you may go. Here, playing the same thing, just starting on the D in different places. And back to the A. And then of course the E, you just move it across the string. And there's all sorts of things you can do to embellish that and to play it out of the chord shapes. that's an idea. But the point with that is, then once you've got a few of those licks and little tricks, then bingo. So if you want to play an E, you're doing. I think that's the kind of riff I was using on Walk On, which is just a blues that Jim threw at me. I said, well, let's do something together, and so we did something in E, and I was using that kind of. Which is very major, not a lot of blue notes in that, but it's just a kind of the little rhythmic device that makes things chunder along. And I think I did the same thing on the Key to the Highway video that I put on my YouTube channel, which goes like this. Do that slowly now, so you got to try and make it so you can see my fingers. The little E7 chord at the end, and that little rundown is. Okay, so that's, you know, those kind of little riff things I think motor it along. And of course the other thing you might do is the kind of classic Yank Rachel sort of big tremolo kind of thing. So I'm playing in G there, and I'm using the B flat, which is a flattened third, up here, up on the top, which gives you a kind of very. That's something you've got to work up and fiddle around with. And the last little thing I'm going to throw at it now is that kind of rhythmic sort of thing of playing this sort of stuff. Which you don't normally do in bluegrass, or the band will shoot you. A little slower, and then so all I'm doing there is I'm playing an A and I'm moving that finger across like that. Ooh, 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 ooh. Or of course you could do this. The kind of difference of rhythm thing. Up. Here's the turnaround. Can you see that? Anyway, that's probably about as much as I know, really. Enjoy.